Hi everyone, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Diane and I'm joined today by Dale from the Blue Line engineering team. And we're going to take the next few minutes to walk you through the Metro Center Airport section of the Blue Line Light Rail project. Closed captioning is available in English and Spanish by clicking on the CC button or the settings button on the bottom right of the video window. The Blue Line team has established 4 working groups designed to dive a little deeper into each of the project sections. Stations serve as the boundaries for these working groups. For the Metro Center Airport Working Group, the boundaries are the airport station on the east and the Metro Center station on the west. We're looking at 2 options for the Metro Center station. The first option for the Metro Center station is just east of State Highway 71 on East Riverside Drive. This graphic shows the second option being evaluated for Metro Center Station, which is on East Riverside Drive, west of State Highway 71, near Coriander Drive. If you're interested in participating in a live working group session so that you can ask questions and provide feedback in real time, please visit projectconnect.com/get-involved to check out events happening now and to sign up for a future working group meeting. In just a moment, Dale is going to walk you through the engineering schematics for the Metro Center Airport section. Schematics are a technical tool used by the engineering team to develop and communicate the design. Dale will zoom into the schematics to provide a detailed look at the transitway alignment and station locations. There is a legend on each page of the schematics, but you won't be able to see the legend while we're zoomed in, so we wanted to briefly orient you. I'll review some important items. Starting at the top left, in the light green color, indicates an at-grade or street-level guideway. The hatched rectangles are station platforms. The light blue indicates retained cut and fill for the guideway. This color is used to show that the guideway is not at street level, but also not fully elevated. The peach color indicates that the guideway is aerial or elevated above the street level. The purple shading indicates an underground guideway. We won't see that in this section. Green shading indicates a bike path, while pink indicates a zone for trees and furniture. Gray indicates the paved roadway for vehicle lanes, and yellow indicates sidewalk or shared use paths. The middle column has a number of different line types indicating different features. For example, the solid red line with notches indicates a retaining wall. The light blue dashed line indicates the proposed light rail transit corridor, and the black dashed line indicates the existing right-of-way limit. Referring to the existing right-of-way is helpful where there might be a need to acquire additional space for transportation facilities or right-of-way through the corridor. The rest of the center column is less critical, but we also wanted to point out the right-hand column, which provides icons for elements like heritage and protected trees, signalized intersections, and bus stops. Just below the legend, you'll see that the schematics read from west to east, with the west on the left and the east on the right. On the schematics, the track is indicated by a blue line showing eastbound to the airport and a red line showing westbound to downtown. Finally, on the slide, you'll see the various cross sections for the project in some key areas. While the schematics we're about to look at are designed to show us what the project would look like from above, these help us to see what the project would look like if we were standing in the middle of it. Dale will describe each of these areas as we show them on the screen, but briefly I'll just mention the characteristics of the cross sections. Bicycle and pedestrian facilities, as well as tree and furniture zones, are indicated in green. Car and bus lanes are indicated in gray. The light rail lines and stations are indicated in blue. With that, I'll turn it over to Dale to share the engineering design plans.
Great, thank you so much, Diane. Again, I'm Dale. I'm part of the engineering team that's been developing and evaluating the various options we've been considering for the alignment and things like station locations and overall setup for the transitway between Metro Center Station and the airport station. Real quick, before we get started, I thought I'd show you what it actually looks like on the screen. Diane just went over the legend, but I thought it'd be a little easier for you to see it in real life. So in here, the gray shaded area is the proposed pavement. This is Riverside Drive through here. The light blue indicates where the lanes are, where turning movements are allowed to go left or straight through or straight or right through like this one. pedestrian crossings, that kind of thing. On the side over here, you see green shading, that's bike paths. And then some yellow shading, that is pedestrian walkways. The pink shading are buffer areas that will have things like trees and benches, things like that in between the various elements of the project. And then in the middle here, the screen shading is the actual transitway itself, where the trains will be running back and forth. The solid blue line here is the center line of the track that heads east towards the airport. And the solid red line is the center of the track that heads west back towards downtown. Things like this intersection signal light on here indicates where there'll be signals and for both the cars and the transit. And these are also locations where vehicles will be allowed to traverse across the transitway. Just another thing to just touch on real quickly here. These are very preliminary, what you're going to see here today. We have a lot of options that are being considered, and generally this is distilled down to one version of those options currently that we're all looking at right now and trying to narrow them down and get input from the public on. And so we just wanted to walk you through what we are currently looking at. So to get us oriented one more time here, so we're starting here from just to the west of 71. This is Riverside Drive. To the left, we'll be back towards downtown. To the right, heads in towards the airport. In this case, just off the screen here is where 71 actually is, and this is Riverside. Dan showed a map showing where the two different options for the Metro Center station will be located. This is actually option number 2 in that map. Here on the west side of 71, located near Coriander Drive. So this blue box with the hatching in here is the proposed station location. In this case, it would be in the center between the tracks. That would be where the loading and unloading would happen. As we get further over here towards the east and cross 71, I'll show you the other option, number 1, that she showed on her map as well. And, you know, things that are being considered as we lay these out is impacts to the roadways, pedestrian access, and things like the ability for us to add a park and ride, as this is a great location on the far east side of the blue line to add a park and ride for the commuters that come into town from the east to be able to park and then take the transit into downtown that way. So as we take off here from Coriander and this possible station location and head to the east, we'll cross Coriander and Airport Commerce. Both will be signalized intersections. We'll pass by Discovery Lane, which won't be a signalized intersection, so there won't be any traversing of the transitway in here. As we get a little bit further east, let me pan over to the next page here for you. So this is where we just took off from. Discovery Lane is right in here. And Coriander, that station is just back here off the left. This is the main lanes of Highway 71. There's the frontage roads in here. So the transitway would remain center running as we cross the existing bridge, and the lanes will be reconfigured so that all of the existing lanes that currently exist today will be maintained into the future, even with the new space taken up by the transitway. Intersections on both sides with signal lights on both sides of the frontage road here. So we cross over 71 and get onto the east side here. This is Metro Center Drive, just down here. There's a Starbucks and Hampton Inn and La Quinta right here. And so the second option, actually we're calling option number 1, is to put a station on this side of 71 in this location, and that might look something along like this. So this is the same location, just showing a possible station layout. So in this case, some of the constraints we're dealing with in this area is the Metro Center Drive intersection. The length of the station that you need to have in here makes it traverse across that intersection. So we end up having to push the station alignment to the north and put it up on that side of the right of way, and then have the lane as you head back towards town on Riverside Drive here would be on the other side. That creates some other challenges of maintaining access to the hotel and the Starbucks and so these other parking areas in here. So you'll see a dedicated lane. So these are the kinds of things that we're looking at, what this might look like if the station ended up over here and how we can fit it all in. Let's flip back over to the option where there's not a station shown in this area, and I'll just continue us off here towards the east. So again, in this version, where there's not a station here, Metro Center would just be a signalized intersection with turning movements allowed from both ways through lanes on both sides of the central running transitway. So we head further and further to the east here along Riverside Drive. We start to actually this version of this anyway, and there's a lot of options being considered, but this version actually transitions the transitway to be onto the north side of Riverside through here at Hoke Lane. So you can kind of see where we go from center running here on the left, and as we traverse Hoke Lane, we end up on the north side here, and then all the lanes are pushed down onto the south side of the transitway. So Hoke Lane would be a signalized intersection. And again, this is all still being evaluated. I think we're looking at different options for maintaining the center running in here as well. So again, this is just one version of what that might look like. As we get over to Palma Verde Drive, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here so we can all kind of get our bearings one more time. So Riverside Drive comes through here, kind of more or less dead ends into 183 right here. This is south of 71 is right up here. 71 is right up here. So this intersection is just to the south of 71. And then this is airport property here, and off the screen to the bottom is a runway, the end of the west runway, and up around the top here, 71, that kind of runs left to right. So as we come down Riverside, we need to get up and over the 183 freeway there. And so as you can see the green shading in here, that indicates we're at grade at existing ground. And then we transition up to the orange areas means we're elevated onto a bridge structure. So that's kind of the difference for you to note there between the green and the orange. Green being at grade and orange being elevated on a bridge. You can kind of see what the columns and beams over that bridge might look like. That's what the green area, these green dashed lines show. So to do this and have enough space for us to get up high enough to maintain the access to this property here so that the bridge is high enough in here, we have to relocate the Palma Verde intersection a little bit back here towards the west. So that's what you kind of see here is moving that driveway here and the Palma Verde side over here to allow us to still be at grade as we cross that. Again, we're trying to get up high enough to make sure there's access to this property here. And then we need to be high enough to allow for all the truck traffic and, future plans for TxDOT and what they're expecting to improve as we cross 183. So we're coordinating with TxDOT on future 183 plans, which are very preliminary at this point, but we're trying to plan ahead for that with them. And then, so we get over onto this side, onto the east side of 183. We are trying to make sure we get back down to grade as we have to cross underneath. There's some, you can kind of see it in the aerial here, very large Austin Energy transmission lines that run through here. So, and they're very tall as well. Being off the end of the runway, we need to be down low so we can't go over them. So we are trying to get back down to grade and get underneath these Austin Energy lines. In addition, this blue dashed line kind of indicates there's protected areas off the end of the runway that exists over here that we do not want to have any structures or retaining walls, those kinds of things within that blue runway protection zone. So we are also making sure we get back down in time for that. So same area, 183 is over here just off the left. This road we're at here is the existing connection between 183 northbound and 71 eastbound. And you can see kind of light hatched gray area in here. Those are actually planned roadways that TxDOT is currently in design on a new frontage road that will run parallel to the existing main lanes of 71 through here and create basically a dedicated exit road for the airport. And so we've been coordinating closely with them, getting their plans incorporated with ours, and that is largely dictating what our alignment's going to look like. We are following very closely along with what their proposed alignment's going to be as we swing around here. And so as we come around here, now we're getting to be parallel with 71, and we start to run into a constraint in this area where there are the large overhead poles that run through here. There's the parking spot property in there, and then there's the proposed TxDOT frontage lane in here. So we basically run out of space for our transitway to be in its own area. So we end up going and decking the transitway on top of the new proposed frontage road for TxDOT. So that allows us to just be directly on top of that future road, and you can kind of see how the bridge structure straddles across that future road as we get through here. So again, we have transitioned from being at grade back to elevated, so we're elevated and stacked on top of that road. And then get us back to the next page here. Yeah, and so here's the parking spot as we continue through here. So we're decked on top of the future TxDOT frontage road. And then we get past the parking spot, past this Austin Energy substation, and then we swing out. So we aren't on top of the future road any longer. We're running parallel and right next to it, still within TxDOT right away. This is the parking lot for the cargo facility at the airport. So we continue to head to the east here. So here is Spirit of Texas Drive, which is the cargo exit. When you see that exit on the signs on 71, that's what Spirit of Texas is. We'll be elevated and we will cross over Spirit of Texas Drive, and then we hang a right and head basically directly south in towards the terminal. We go ahead and remain elevated all through here to help avoid any conflicts with current and future airport plans and their expansion of their different facilities, and make sure we don't impact their roadway interconnectivity through here. So we stay elevated as we come through here. We cross over Hotel Drive. Just off the screen here is the Hilton Airport Hotel, which is that large circle building, which, you know, here in the Air Force days and been converted to the airport. There's a newer Hyatt hotel in there. The cell phone lot is just down here where you park and wait for folks to call you when they're ready to get picked up. So cross over the top of Spirit of Austin Lane through here, and also over Presidential Boulevard. Presidential Boulevard is the main entrance road into the terminal that you would take. So we stay elevated and cross over those roads and then get into the main parking areas on the airport property. As we get in close to the terminal, we traverse our way through the airport parking. We are still elevated, minimizing our impacts to the parking, maintaining as many parking spaces as we can through there, not impacting the connectivity of all that parking in these parking lots as well. And we come up to a possible location of our station, which is located in between their two parking garages. This one on top here is the rental car parking garage. The one below is the blue parking garage that recently, in the last couple of years, has been constructed. To the right, this roof you can see here is the short-term parking garage at the right in front of the terminal building there. So this shows us kind of squeezing in between all these parking garages and getting us as close into the terminal as we can. As I said, we're going to be elevated through here, and a big piece of that is our coordination with the airport. And, you know, they have a lot of plans for expansion for their terminal that's just starting, and so we want our station and their plans to line up as seamlessly as possible so that pedestrian access is smooth and easy. So the elevation of this station is going to be coordinated very closely with the airport and where their pedestrian access into their future expansion is going to take place. So real quickly, one version of what that might look like. This is a rendering that's you might have seen before of what this station in between the parking garages might look like. So that's the rental car garage. This is the new blue garage. Here's the train coming inbound and going outbound with the center station in between, all elevated through here, with the idea of having pedestrian connectivity directly into the future terminal expansion work that will happen there. You can see the tower here in the background there. Here's a different view down at ground level. You can see the tower, not ground level, at the station level. Looking at the tower here in the background. So this is what the station could look like if it was located in between these two parking garages in there. I think that's it, Diane. I think I got us all the way to the end.
Thanks so much, Dale. And thanks again, everyone, for joining us to review the Metro Center Airport section of the Blue Line Light Rail project. Please take a moment to complete the questions below and tell us what you think about the project's design in this area, including strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. To learn what plans look like along other segments of the Blue Line, you can watch the downtown, East Riverside, and South Shore videos. And please visit our Get Involved page at projectconnect.com/get-involved to find out how to stay involved with the Project Connect program. Thank you.